Time for In the Papers, international paper review, in fact, and Florence is with us here on set. A lot of the papers today, aren't they, Flo, reacting to the shooting at a movie theatre in Aurora, Colorado, killed 12 people, and a lot of people focusing on the victims and the heroes as well.
That's right. We're going to start by looking at the Wall Street Journal Europe. It's on the front page there, mourning the victims of Aurora, and there's a photo of a young man next to a makeshift memorial. The International Herald Tribune has an article on these heroes, as they call them, the superheroes that were present at the movie theater. And in fact, there are a lot of articles across the international press about these people who gave up their lives to save other people's lives. For instance, Matthew Robert McQuinn, a 27-year-old man who threw himself in front of his girlfriend to protect her, ended up losing his life. A lot of people are also focusing on the youngest victim of the massacre, the 6-year-old Veronica Moser. So it's quite a heartbreaking article there in the International Herald Tribune.
And the massacre also, of course, raising the issue of gun control in the US, touchy subject which is getting some attention in the press.
That's right. The Independent wonders, when will they learn? Stephen Foley visits the Columbine massacre, which is just about 20 miles from last week's massacre. And there's some striking photos there. On the left, you see a photo of Aurora, 2012, and on the right, you see a photo that was taken after the Columbine massacre in 1999. Seems like it could be in the exact same place. And according to Stephen Foley, there's a quote at the memorial for Columbine that says, "It brought the nation to its knees, but now that we've gotten back up, what has changed? What can we have learned?" And he says it's tempting to say that not that much has changed in the last 13 years. Now, Columbine did lead to this big national debate about gun control, but turns out nothing really changed in terms of legislation, including in Colorado, which has some of the most lax gun laws. For instance, police believe that the suspect legally obtained his 4 guns and 6,000 rounds of ammunition. So this time, it seems like it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be a lot of talk, but not much action. And it seems that some states actually want to loosen gun laws as a way to protect citizens. So lots of debate about gun laws, but The Independent points out that gun control alone is not the answer. Now, reminds us that, you know, Norway is also marking the 1-year anniversary since a major massacre there, and predictably all this calls for tighter gun control, but gun control isn't what these strategies are all about, according to this article in The Independent. For instance, Norway's gun laws aren't lax, and yet this tragedy wasn't prevented. So according to this article, unfortunately, in any society, there are crazy people, essentially, people who feel alienated, and they have these demons inside them, and gun control isn't going to stop that. And there's a similar article in the Wall Street Journal that says that these killing sprees aren't a result of lax gun laws. But basically, what is important is for a free society to learn how to protect itself from a twisted mind. And according to this article in the Wall Street Journal, it's up to families, educators, and medical professors to be more vigilant.
You talked about Norway there. A lot of the papers also covering the 1-year anniversary of the massacre there.
That's right. We're going to take a look at a couple of newspapers there, starting with Dagbladet, which says that Oslo was very quiet tonight. It doesn't happen very often. VG, meanwhile, it says, "We shall overcome." Now, this is a quote from a Bruce Springsteen song. He was actually there performing during some of the ceremonies. This echoes the words of the Prime Minister, Jens Stoltenberg, who says the killer failed, but the people have won. So there were ceremonies that were held in the capital, as well as on the island of Utoya, and about 1,500 victims and relatives visited the island to remember those that were killed. And there's an article in Aftenposten that follows parents of two young ladies that were killed on the island, and they went there saying that they wanted to imagine the last moments that their daughters had on the island. And according to them, it was a nice moment for reflection. We stood where our daughters died. 1 year has gone by, but the grieving will never end.
And very briefly, just to end on the Tour de France, a lot of attention, particularly in the British press, not surprisingly.
Not surprisingly, it's getting a lot of attention. Front page of The Guardian says, "Le Gentleman rides into Paris and history," and you see a photo of Bradley Wiggins that's in front of the Arc of Triumph, and they have a full coverage of his landmark win of the Tour de France. Also on the cover of The Independent, "Here we go, haha, bravo Britain."
Fantastic, excellent, very, very clever. All right, Flo, thank you very much, Florence Filmer with the international papers on France 24.